The following is a Concord University production.
Coming up on WMLT News.
Different ways about what Sigma Tau Gamma should be, and when we couldn't agree, the only result was to dissolve the chapter and to go our separate ways.
So I tell you, what recently occurred, it's a real shame because it leaves everybody with a bad taste in their mouth.
Controversy seems to be following more than one fraternity on campus. Next, find out what all the fuss is about. You're watching WMLT on PBS. Welcome to WMLT News. I'm Tim Gibson.
And I'm Jessica Lilly. It seemed that Mu Xi Phi was the only fraternity having trouble on campus, but now it seems Sigma Tau Gamma is in the spotlight. Tim Gibson has more on the recent developments of the Greek uproar.
The headlines are striking. Mu Xi Phi, champions of last year's homecoming, will no longer be recognized as an official fraternity.
So I tell you, what recently occurred, it's a real shame because it leaves everybody with a bad taste in their mouth. We've always been a good organization to participate in Greek Week and homecoming and other things, and we feel we're a part of Greek life here at this school.
WMLT has learned of another fraternity, Sigma Tau Gamma, is also in jeopardy.
A lot of problems in the organization, and we've talked amongst ourselves, and we've had a vote to dissolve the chapter.
Some students are attributing the Sig Tau's end to the recent IFC decision to expel Mu Xi Phi. Henderson was the one who placed the deciding vote in that decision, but he says that's simply not the case. Not true, is it?
No, I've heard a lot about the IFC decision about Mu Xi Phi, and that was a brotherhood decision. It was a unanimous vote within our meeting. That doesn't mean that everyone in the Brotherhood supported it, but it means that everyone that showed up at the quorumed meeting did vote for it.
The real story, according to Henderson, involved corruption in the ranks of the Sig Tau leadership. Rather than sending the indicted officials to trial, they were allowed to bow gracefully.
Involved in the trial, and they've been allowed to accept alumni status.
A locked lounge, empty halls, missing letters. All signs that the oldest fraternity on the campus beautiful no longer has a future, while another grows stronger.
I don't think as a fraternity this is going to weaken us at all. If anything, it'll make us stronger. None of us joined this brotherhood to be in Greek Week. We joined to form a bond with each other and support each other and have brothers.
Tim Gibson, WMLT News, Athens. What do you think of when you hear the phrase, open for business? Well, no matter what you think, it could be the newest phrase on your license plate. The open for business slogan was a recent suggestion for a new license plate phrase proposed by Senator Shirley Love, a Democrat from Fayette County. The bill was typed up incorrectly and resulted in quite a few laughs on the House floor. Despite the chuckles, the new phrase has been approved and will start appearing on plates soon.
It seems Powerball has been the word on mouths everywhere lately. People in West Virginia were disappointed in the recent announcement of the winning Powerball ticket in Nebraska. Citizens were overwhelmed with the gaming fever since the announcement of the $365 million jackpot. Local businesses saw quite a flourish in their ticket selling trends. Owners say Powerball tickets have become a normal grocery stop item. This particular jackpot even brought players from as far as California. But if you weren't that lucky Nebraska native, there are other ways to take those chances with your money. Advocates of adding casino table games at West Virginia racetracks are now hoping to sway lawmakers by offering the revenue from the games to senior citizen programs and even reduction of sales tax on groceries. The bill would allow Hancock, Jefferson, Kanawha, and Ohio counties to vote on whether to permit table games at their tracks. The bill will also tax table games at 12% of gross proceeds. Of that, 85.5% would go to the state's general revenue fund. The 60-day session concerning this bill and others ends March 11th.
Recently, CEO of Massey Energy Incorporated, Don Blankenship, predicted the majority of West Virginia's House of Delegates will be Republican, but he didn't say it with positive reinforcement. Blankenship criticized the state's Republicans for lack of action on tax reform and also said they should be embarrassed that 51% of West Virginia school children are eligible for free or reduced lunches. It didn't take long to see the flip side. Protesters affiliated with Mountain Justice who gathered outside where Blankenship spoke held signs reading "Beware Blankenship, Buying Berkeley," and "Appalachian Apocalypse." Crowds exclaimed the coal executive was responsible for 2 coal miner deaths and for destroying the scenic mountains with his mountaintop removal mining.
Although graduation brings opportunity, it also brings loss. Concord will be losing 2 senior girl basketball players, 2 cheerleaders, a mascot, and a very special men's basketball player this spring. Kent McBride is the lone men's basketball player graduating this spring. Kent was known for his unselfish style of play and his slick moves that have helped lead Concord to a winning season. For his senior night, McBride went out with a bang. He went 5 for 7 from the floor and dished out 6 assists. He now has 495 assists to his name along with other 3,000 minutes of game time. The Lions ended up romping the Eagles 95-71 under the leadership of Kent McBride. McBride will definitely be missed, no questions asked.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. It may have been tougher for mom back in elementary school to pack your lunch if you suffered from the dreaded peanut allergy. Now some parents may be taking steps to make sure their child does not come in contact with the dreaded nut. Donna McNeely of Putnam County fears her child, who has the allergy, could come into contact with a nut product at school by accident. McNeely suggested only schools who have students with the peanut allergy should be peanut-free. Yet only 2 of the 22 schools in Putnam County have students that do not have the allergy. Although none of the schools are peanut-free, they do claim they are peanut-aware.
Wow, that should be interesting. I have a cousin that's actually allergic to milk. I wonder if they could take those same steps.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if they will take those same steps, but milk is such a common product in school systems.
It is. When we come back, find out how some students are helping others have a fun and safe spring break.
And find out how helping nature doesn't always pay off. Stay tuned. Welcome back to WMLT on PBS. Dick Cheney is hitting the headlines for a situation other than politics. No, it's not about a controversial decision or a health issue. Dick Cheney actually shot a man by mistake on a recent hunting accident. 78-year-old Harry Whittington was sprayed by birdshot while hunting recreationally alongside the vice president. Late-night talk show hosts are having a ball. The Daily Show host Jon Stewart pointed out Whittington is the first person to be shot by a vice president since Aaron Burr. Burr was shot by Alexander Hamilton. Stewart also quipped, Hamilton shot Burr over issues of honor, integrity, and political maneuvering. Whittington, mistaken for a bird. Whittington is in stable condition.
Valentine's Day may not have held the same luster as it usually does for some this year. Late last year, Hurricane Katrina robbed many of any kind of holiday spirits. The Alpha Psi Omega sorority tried to send some love down south by sponsoring a Valentine fundraiser for hurricane victims. This act of kindness was what was necessary to add a little joy to a loving holiday. February 9th, Concord University students got to have a taste of Osubi Craig's outstanding musical dishes. Osubi Craig is a group of accomplished drummers whose musical style are a fusion of traditional African rhythms layered with Afro-Cuban and Latin undertones, as well as the jazz and R&B funk of the African-American culture.
For years, Mac users haven't had to worry about computer viruses infecting their systems. That's no longer the case. The first malicious virus for the Apple's OS X operating system, Tiger, has been discovered. The worm spreads itself through the popular iChat instant messaging system. The good news is the user must click on the link in order to spread the virus to their system. Because of this, Computer security giant Symantec has rated the new worm as a level 1 threat. 5 is the most severe on the scale. Once the user is infected, the worm forwards itself to the user's contacts as a file titled latestpic.tgz. A federal commission is exploring the possibility of standardized testing for college students. The Commission on the Future of Higher Education is seriously considering several testing options. President Bush appointed the commission because he believes that the standards of higher education have fallen dramatically. The National Center for Education Statistics backs up the president's claim. They say that although the number of graduates is on the rise, average literacy rates from college and universities are falling. Advocates of the testing also say that colleges are letting down their students with less work, less class time, and lower standards. But students disagree.
I don't think standardized tests properly weigh your knowledge. It gets an average, that's about all.
Although spring break is a time to kick back and relax, it sometimes results in unwise decisions. The Baptist Student Union recently tried to help make those decisions a little wiser, as well as encourage a good time. Jessica Triolo has more.
Wednesday, February 15th through Friday the 17th, the Baptist Student Union had a hot dog bake sale to raise money for a mission trip to Panama City Beach, Florida.
We're raising the money for a trip called Beach Reach, which is a missions trip that the Baptist Student Union does. For the students ourselves, it's about $250 a student, and then we have to have traveling expenses and food and all that stuff.
The Baptist Student Union raised around $500 from the bake sale. This money will be used for traveling and food expenses. The $250 that each student must pay goes only to the lodging expenses. For any information on helping the BSU, contact BSU Director Bobby Cox at 384-3052. The Baptist Student Union meets every Monday night at 7:30 on subway sides. Well, it looks like BSU's hot dog and bake sale was a success. With WMLT, I'm Jessica Triola.
This week's At Concord is all about culture on the campus beautiful. Art enthusiasts, come on down. CU is hosting the work of Mark Gordon. Gordon is an associate professor at Barton College in North Carolina. His show features mostly his work in ceramics. That runs until March 17th. April 10th, the university box office will start taking reservations for the Concord University musical Barfly. Barfly was written by Concord professor Tom Gamble and is produced by CU student Corey Franklin. April 22nd, Barfly premieres. A reminder to community members, Barfly is not recommended for children.
You always hear about helping nature and doing your best to treat animals the way they deserve to be treated. Doesn't that apply to all animals? Parkersburg native Sarah Stapp found out recently that it does not apply to possums. Stapp was rehabilitating 30 to 50 orphaned possums each year. Division of Natural Resources wildlife officials insisted Stapp put a stop to the caring for the possums due to the concerns with disease transmission. Although they knew she was operating out of good intentions, officials insisted Stapp release the possums by fall.
I mean, seriously, why would you have that many possums in your house?
I don't know. They must be quiet. They play dead a lot, right?
I guess they play dead a lot. I mean, I really just don't understand it. I mean, I can understand, like, you know, golden eagles or some endangered species, but a possum's pretty common.
Well, same as cats, I guess. Well, that's all we have this week on WMLT. Stay tuned for MU Report next, and thanks for watching.